This is page 52 in our notes, and this one, we'll have to tape in this Georgia Department of Ed. This was number 5 that we had skipped back on the other tests that we were doing. We had done the other problems, but I wanted to save this one. This goes along with standard EE5, or sorry, EE5. I don't know why I wrote 7. EE5. This is real world algebraic expressions. I'll rewrite that, sorry. EE5. So how is this real world? I'm going to move this up here so that you can see that. A wireless service provider charges $29.99 per month for service plus 10 cents for each text message. So this is like in the real world, your parents have to pay your cell phone bill. So we know that they're paying $29.99 per month just to have your service. And then plus, that's a keyword that tells us we're going to be adding 10 cents for each text message that you send. I know now a lot of data plans are you have unlimited data, unlimited text messages, but what if you didn't and this was your plan? How could you figure out how much your cell phone bill would cost? Well, it depends on how many text messages you send. And if you don't have a lot of money, you may have to pay attention to how many messages you send to make sure that you don't go over on your bill. So how would this work? For if you sent 35 text messages, how would you know how much it would cost? Well, there's 2 things here. You have the $29.99. You're always going to be charged that. That's kind of like your flat rate, plus however much for your text messages. So you could say that if you wanted to reverse this around and say 10 cents is how much it costs for each message. Now, each is kind of like if you sent 1, then you're 10 cents. If you were to send 2, 20 cents, 3, 30 cents, 4, 40 cents. So in order to figure out for each, you're actually taking 10 cents times your text, however many texts you sent. So you're multiplying 10 cents times however many text messages you send. Plus, you still have to add on your $29.99 that they're always going to charge for your service. So what do I plug in here for the amount of text messages? Okay, so the amount of text messages that you're sending is 35 text. So you have 10 cents times your 35 text messages, okay? So you have to do 10 cents times your 35. You still have to add that to $29.99. So 10 cents times your text, and then you add your $29.99. You multiply first, and then you add, just like PEMDAS with orders of operation, and your total bill, if I use my calculator, gives me $33.49. And that's per month. Okay, so what if you were to send 105 text messages? How does that change your bill? Well, what stays the same? You're still being charged 10 cents times however many messages you send. You're still adding your $29.99 per month for your bill. So the only thing that changes is the amount of messages you send. So now instead of 35, you're going to send 105 text messages. So 10 cents times your 105, and then you're going to add $29.99. Your bill would be $40.49. So your bill goes up because you sent more messages. Okay, what if the next month you send 217 messages? So how does that change your bill? Well, the 10 cents is still the same times however many messages you sent, and then you're adding $29.99. Could I have said $29.99 plus your 10 cents times this? Yeah, you can flip it around. I like writing it this way because with PEMDAS, you need to multiply first and then add so it looks nice. So you plug in 217 messages. So this is what changes. 10 cents times 217 plus your $29.99, and my calculator gives me $51.69. So that's what your bill would be. So that's actually solving what your bill would be. You can solve because you know the number of messages you sent. What if they just ask you to write an expression to represent the cost if T text messages are sent? So you need to use the variable T. So we know in this, what I wrote in blue is always the same. You're always being charged 10 cents. But then you have to times it by T. Well, if you remember when we're writing it for t, you could put 10 next to the t, right next to each other. That's a form of multiplication. So 10 cents times the t, and then you are going to add 29.99, and that would equal your total bill. You don't know your total bill because you don't know how many text messages you sent. So in this case, they're just wanting you to write an expression. You don't necessarily need the equal sign and say total bill. You could have just written the 10 cents times t, and you could have just added the $29.99, and that could have been your expression. You're adding because it said plus. You have to multiply because that's however many text messages you send, and that's all you have. You don't know your total bill, and you don't actually know the answer unless they told you how many messages. So in this case, they're telling you to use the variable t, and we put it here. Remember, next to each other means multiply. I want you to defend this answer up here. Defend why you're multiplying. Why are you adding? What would you say there for that? Well, we multiply by 10 cents by the number of text messages. BC in my notes means because it said for each text message. So that explains why we're multiplying by 10 cents by t for each text. And for text, we're using t, if you remember, for the variable. And then why are we adding the 29? Well, we have to add 29.99. Why? What told us we needed to add? We circled it up there, the plus, the word plus. Because, so BC in my notes means because. We add 29.99 because it said plus. So that's kind of defending why are you multiplying, why are you adding. If you were to divide or subtract, you would need to defend why are you dividing and subtract. I'm going to guess there would be some sort of key words up here that tell you why you are doing that.